Alright, so today we're going to be learning how to make a print. You're going to start out with your printing plate. This printing plate, you can tell, has already been used. There are a lot of different colors that you're going to wind up using. There's going to be different colors at each table, and you aren't going to have a chance to wash off your printing plates before you go to the next color. So it's really important that you guys follow along with the directions to make your prints as awesome as possible. So yeah, printing plate. First things you're going to need are your printing plate, and you're going to need a piece of manila paper underneath. This paper, it's just a normal piece of paper, but this is to make sure that the tables don't get dirty. The next thing you're going to need is your foam tray. This foam tray is where your ink is going to live. So I'm going to take my ink, I'm going to untwist it. If you hold it up here and twist, sometimes it want to open, so hold it down closer. And then you're just going to squeeze a line out across the top. And then close it back up. And always leave the inks standing up. Otherwise, they are going to take a while for the ink to get back down. Notice I just put it in a line across the top because I'm actually going to be pulling the ink down with this. This roller is called a brayer. Brayers are used to roll on top of your printing plate once you have a color. So yeah, what you need to do is you are going to put your roller or your brayer in the ink, and you're going to pull down. You didn't shove it in the middle. You didn't push it all down. You're just trying to pull some of the ink down. And you're holding with one hand, and you're pulling down with the other. The point of this isn't to make it look pretty all over your foam tray. It's actually to cover your roller, and you can see how it's not covered yet. It's to cover your roller in as much ink as possible. You can actually go in the other direction. And I want you guys to realize that when I'm doing it, put it on the side here so you can see what I'm doing. Like this. I actually push down, let it roll, and then I lift up. Push down, roll, lift up. Every time. Push down, roll, lift up. Because if you just roll back and forth, and if you have a lot of ink, it'll just start to push it back and forth and it won't actually cover your entire roller. So again, I'm lifting and rolling each time, holding my printing plate as I go. As soon as you are done with this, you'll pass it on to the next person so they can start using it. Then you're going to take your printing plate, and again, always make sure that you have your manila paper underneath. You're going to hold your printing plate with one hand, and you're going to use your roller with the other hand. Now, if you need more ink, go back to your tray and pull some more ink down and lift and roll. Go the other way. Again, you're not trying to make it look pretty on here. You're just trying to get it to cover your roller as much as possible. So I'm going back and forth. Yes, these make funny noises. It's okay. I'm trying to make sure that I'm actually covering up the areas on my printing plate. So I can go back, cover that area a little bit better. I don't necessarily want to do the bottom of the printing plate. If it accidentally happens, that's fine. But I want to make sure that all of those areas that are actually sticking out are covered. Do it over here. So I go in one direction, and then I can go back in the other direction. Once you are totally done with your brayer, you're going to take your paper, and you're not going to put it in the middle, because if you put it down in the middle, you'll wind up having a handful of ink at the end. So you're actually going to put it off the end. Really important that you remember to do that. Then pass this on to the next person so they can get started. The next thing that you need to pass on to the next person is actually this manila paper. You do not want to push down and get your print while the manila paper is still underneath, because you'll be actually able to see all of these extra roller marks that are all around it. So to get a really nice clean print, you just pick it up, pass this on to the next person so they can get started, put it back down, and then you're going to take your paper, center it as best as possible on top, holding the paper, and then what I like to do is I like to find my edges of my paper, go all around the edges, and then I rub in the middle. And I can actually start to see some of my ink through this. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I can start to see it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hold the corner, the finger, and I'm going to peel it off. So that's my print. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil. You guys will use a pencil. I'm going to use a marker so you can actually see it. And I'm going to write my name. You can also write your teacher's name, but you don't have to. So this is going to be your first print. And the next thing that you're going to pull is a ghost print. And a ghost print is just like it sounds. It's a ghost of what it used to be. So it's not the whole thing. So you're not going to put any more ink on your printing plate, but you're actually going to take another sheet of paper. You're going to center it on top again. And again, you're going to find all of your edges. And this is to kind of clean off your printing plate. Rubbing really well. I'm trying to get my printing plate into all of those little edges and those seams and the overlapping paper. Again, I'm going to hold it with one finger and pull it back. So sometimes your ghost print is actually the better print. So in my case, my ghost print, I think, is a little bit better than my first print. But you can see that one has less ink, one has more ink. Again, you'll write your name on this as well. And then when you have both of them, you're going to go to the drying rack and you're going to put them on the drying rack. Since printmaking takes up a lot of room, when you put it on the drying rack, try to stack them on top of each other in areas that there's no paint. If you touch the paint, it's going to stick to it. But if you have them just overlapping that area, we can fit more on the drying rack. When we switch tables, you are only taking your printing plate with you. You are not taking anything else. The manila paper stays, the brayers stay, the foam trays stay. The only thing that moves is you and your printing plate. At the very end of class, when we've gone through all of the different prints and all of the different colors, then you're going to put your printing plate on the drying rack, and I will let you know when that happens. So, manila paper underneath your printing plate before you start. You're not trying to make your roller, the foam tray, look pretty. You're trying to cover up your roller completely. So remember, your roller, your brayer. You're pulling two different prints, one with a lot of ink on it, and a second one to kind of pull off the rest of the ink. And then before you start to print, you need to make sure that you take the manila paper out from underneath you and pass it to the next person. This will also keep the line moving so that everybody in your class can get done with as many colors as possible. So, if you have any other questions, just let me know.